Do you want to learn how to use Amazon Posts to drive more traffic and conversions to your product listings and get to use and leverage this underutilized way of free advertising? Today's video, I'm going to share with you the ultimate guide on Amazon Posts with how to drive traffic and conversions to your listings. And this is going to be something that you will not want to miss because so many people are underutilizing it. And I'm going to share with you some key places of where to look at to get more conversions, to get more traffic, and things that you could be doing to make your posts even better. So Amazon continues to use things on their platform to essentially give everyone a more user-friendly experience. They're going to want to help people to find high quality, affordable products while also really supporting third-party sellers because they are a huge chunk of Amazon's revenue. Now, one of the newer additions in the last few years to Amazon's really advanced ways of looking at how to get people to engage more with listings and products is Amazon Posts. Now, this is something that's going to make Amazon Marketplace feel kind of more like a social media platform. And when I'm going to share about posts, you're going to learn even the formatting, the use of hashtags, things like this, that they're primarily lifestyle type photos. They really look a lot like you would see on another social media platform with photos and hashtags, things like that. So buyers can then scroll through your brand's feed when they're on your storefront, and they can really see engaging visuals that will then link them directly to that product. So, seeing a lifestyle type photo and then having some text underneath it, then they can click to learn more and it takes them to a listing. So this is a great way to get free advertising essentially on the Amazon platform. Now, if you have been struggling with low conversion rates and maybe even your ROI on the ad side on Amazon hasn't been performing as it should, Amazon Posts is definitely a good mix into a way to get advertising of your products to more people on Amazon because they show up typically on your competitors' listings, but they also obviously live in your brand stores page. So I do have a video where I talk about how to create a brand stores page. Make sure to watch that video here because you'll want to learn how to set that up if you don't already, because that is going to be something that you'll need, and you will need to have at the time of this recording 3 pages on brand stores, and then the posts will then be a 4th tab, and that will be something, that's where they'll show up inside there. Now, the other place, like I said, is when people are shopping on their phones, they're going to be able to scroll down on a listing and they're going to start seeing more social media type of images, like lifestyle images, like I was saying. And that's where they can then all of a sudden go to one of your product listings instead of the competitors that they were looking at. So this is, in a way, a form of free advertising. Now, a side note too about posts, as of the time of recording, you do need brand registry. So if you want help on how to get that, watch this video here because it does walk you through this. That's something that you're going to want to have in place to utilize posts. Now, if you have really wanting to find more ways to optimize your content, increase conversions, always feel free to contact us as well. I'll have that link in the description below where you can see a good contact for us. But I'm going to give you enough information in this video so that you can start utilizing posts today if you're not already, or if you already are using posts, how to make them perform better. Because it's not going to matter at all if you're putting up all these posts and they're not actually getting any engagement, they don't lead to sales, things like that. So let me kind of first talk with you. What is an Amazon post? So I've kind of already talked a little bit about it, but it is a new social media feed and it's really integrated into Amazon's when people are shopping on social, or if they're on desktop and they're looking at your stores as well, they'll see it there. And you can create a post that will really showcase a visual of the lifestyle image typically, and caption or text below that. So like I said, like you would see on Instagram, and they're going to show up on product feeds, relevant product detail pages, so even your competitors, your brand feed, and also even category feeds as well. Now, when customers and shoppers are on Amazon and they're looking for products, they really can also have more of that high visual experience, especially for understanding how they can be using the product, because these are typically lifestyle photos. And this can introduce not only your product, but also your brand through Amazon Posts. Now, the best part of Amazon posts is they are free. And that is amazing, especially as we look at, what rising costs of advertising on Amazon that can happen and do happen. This is a great opportunity, something you should definitely be using, and just really integrate it into the rest of your Amazon ecosystem of what you're doing. So don't stop doing other things that are working. Keep those running, but this is something you definitely want to add into. And if you already are using it, this is something you want to press into further, and especially using these tips that I'll share that will help you for the videos or your posts to do better. Benefits of Amazon posts. So obviously they're free and they're easy to use, but also there's more advantages of that. So when you optimize your post correctly, you're going to have a lot of benefits. One of those benefits is increased product visibility. So because you're going to be able to have your product shown, and it's going to give it more exposure, more visibility, so more potential customers can then discover your products and what you have to offer. So you want to make sure you're using the right keywords in your captions, the right hashtags in your post, and also category tags as well. So you can actually put your post on more relevant pages where shoppers are going to be more likely, and it's going to be more relevant for them. So they're going to be at their highest buying stage, like they're ready to get something, and then obviously you want them to see your product, right? And then the next advantage is enhanced brand awareness. So Amazon Post is really going a step beyond just a simple product listing, and make sure, if you haven't already, look and read about how to create a winning product listing, because that is crucial. Because if your listing is not converting, the posts can only do so much. It's going to drive more traffic, but for it to convert, you do need to make sure that your listing is optimized for success. And really, it's going to allow your brand to build more of that brand identity, more awareness on the platform. You should have that consistent on brand posting. So you should be thinking about your brand style guide when you're making your posts for Amazon, like you would for your other social media posts. This should be very integrated. And you want to really develop a stronger brand awareness and also lead more potential buyers to recognize your storefront, your store name, right? Your brand name as really a trustworthy option for them. So the next advantage, higher engagement levels. Now, like any other social media platform, posts are going to allow shoppers to engage with posts by responding and leaving opinions and comments, things like that. So the more engagement there is on those kind of posts, that's going to be more that people can share elsewhere. Now, with Amazon posts, you're kind of limited on that, but this is a place where they can see your, post, and they can engage on it. And the way they do that on Amazon, which you see in the dashboard, is really through clicking through to your listing. So if they go and click on one of your listings, if you have one or if you have several, then that is the way that they are engaging for an Amazon post. Increased product discovery. So this is really great because Amazon Post is going to place your products in areas of their platform, meaning you're going to get increased product discovery opportunities, more ways for your product to be seen, as I've mentioned. So there's going to be shoppers that may have not discovered your product through ads. They may have, been looking for something in particular. They can now look at your post, they can purchase directly, or like I said, on your competitor's listing, you'll show up on their phones as well towards the bottom of the product listing, where your brand can be an option as well for them. So let's talk about how to create posts. Now, you can start by creating posts by going to post.amazon.com, and you do have to have a US Amazon seller account, or if you're on Vendor Central, you have to, have that be brand registered, and have your brand stores page, things that I've already mentioned. So make sure you have that brand registry. Yeah, you should have your professional Amazon selling account, and make sure you also have your brand stores page built out. And typically it's at least 3 pages that you need on your brand stores to be able to create posts, and that could always change, but that is kind of the typical criteria. Now, once you go to that link of post.amazon.com, really it's actually through your advertising console, and then you can click into that and choose the post option, or you can actually go directly to that post.amazon.com. And then you will start off by kind of creating your profile. So you're going to add in things like your brand name and a logo as well. So this will be used throughout your post. This is great for, recognizing a brand quickly by seeing a visual as well as the name. You're pretty much ready to start posting. There's very low barrier to entry with this besides having brand registry, which is awesome. So you're going to then at that point upload your high quality image at that point. So it's going to typically have to be a product lifestyle type photo. There are rules around that. Those rules can always change. Make sure to review the most recent rules to see what it is, but it's typically going to have to be a product lifestyle type image. You don't want a lot of text, things like that, because you have to think of what are typical posts that are happening on other social media platforms. You're also going to be able to add a caption, like some text, but it is limited on your characters, of course. And then you can also do hashtags as well. And you can tag relevant products within your product line of what this fits for. So, if you're creating a post where you've got someone that looks like their skin is very moisturized, maybe you're kind of going to point them to your products that are very moisturizing if that's something that you sell within your catalog on Amazon. So look at adding things that are relevant. I would definitely recommend also adding multiple products. So we have looked kind of at the data, and we do see that multiple products within one post, you're going to get better reach that way, more visibility and more views and things like that. So I would definitely recommend it if it makes sense for that post to add extra products that are relevant for that post. Okay, so let me share with you some tips and driving traffic and conversions with Amazon posts. So if you want all the advantages that above that I've already kind of mentioned about, Amazon posts previously, then you must also then optimize your feed correctly. So here's a few tips that will help you with that for traffic and conversions. You'll want to really use striking visuals, right? Because that is going to be the first thing that they see. That's going to be that primary opportunity to engage with the shopper. You want to think about, like you would social media, you want them to stop and to be interested in the image enough to look into it further, right? So your images should not look all typical. You don't really want it to be like the main image type of photo image. This is going to really help people to see what this will help them with in their life by using your product. So let me give you another example. For example, if you sell, hiking gear, think about models that are, wearing clothing in a scenic location, somewhere beautiful that they're hiking, and highlight different parts of the product features, like that maybe it's waterproof, and they might be walking through a little bit of water, and their gear isn't getting, it's waterproof, and that's helpful. Or they could be trekking under a waterfall, for instance. That's probably a better example. The next thing is, you do get to engage, so make sure that you're looking at the data for that on how are your engagements, how much reach has happened for your posts. You'll start to see certain posts that Amazon will choose to show to more people, and those are going to be ones that you're going to see higher, views for. And then you're also going to see ones that are going to have more like engagement, meaning they're going to be clicking into your post, clicking into a listing essentially. And then there are going to be posts, these could also be overlapping, but there's going to be ones that are also going to stand out with what is then actually leading to sales. This is helpful, for instance, when going back to that previous example, you could test out different types of scenery. So if you do have something that's could be used in warm weather or cold weather, you're maybe showing different visuals that way. Are there ones that maybe are performing better than others? Then that would be something to press into. So it's kind of a way to really test your visuals to see what really resonates most with your target audience. You're going to also want to use the right keywords, hashtags. So you're going to be able to those captions are kind of your keywords, think about it that way. And the hashtags as well are going to help Amazon to know who to show it to. It's also going to know who to show it to based on like the products and the ASINs that you choose, but just keep that in mind. And you're going to want to make sure it's showing in front of the right people. Amazon is going to be the one that places those though. It's very hands off. Unlike advertising, you can't, bid a certain amount to be seen at the top of search, that kind of thing. So they're going to show who they think is relevant and like the relevant listings. Obviously it lives on your brand source page as well, but that's really the other one that we're looking at is when it's on competitor listings. So make sure you're thinking too about the competitive landscape. So you may even want to go into what are competitors doing on their posts And you might want to see, is there a pattern that you're noticing that you could utilize too? That would be one thing. Or you could also then kind of go away from what the crowd is doing and the competitors are doing and try to create a post that is very visually different and see if that then resonates with your target audience. Because if it stands out, it's going to get that click, and then they're going to go to your listing at that point. Now, you also really want to make sure that you're continuing to run paid advertising on Amazon. I have a video and it's very simple and basic, but if you have never created Amazon PPC campaigns, or if you just want to learn more about the basic types, I do have a video here talking about the different, like creating sponsored product ad campaigns. So you might find that helpful. So make sure you are pairing running ads, but also utilizing things like posts. Now, that's really paid ads are going to just help amplify your results. So you're trying to get more traffic to your listing. Posts is just another way to get more people to your listings and then hopefully convert to a sale. Other things like with paid advertising you should be running is video ads, which are great. Sponsored brand ads, if you're brand registered, and I already mentioned sponsored product campaigns as well. So this is all just going to help everything get amplified. Now, make sure to also craft concise and compelling copies. Your post is going to be limited, so you're going to make sure you have to make sure it's concise, that it's engaging, and there's only going to be a certain amount of text too that they'll see before it starts to go ... and they have to click to read the rest. The most important information, or if it's maybe kind of teasing to the rest of the information, you're going to want to make sure that's at the very, very beginning, unless like I said, you're trying to have them click to read more. And you're really wanting to show them how this is going to be a solution to the problem and the pain points that they have. And you should know your audience very well of who is buying your products, and just speak to as if you were speaking to just one person, that target primary audience that you're trying to discuss. That's who you're going to write those captions for. And you should also use this to really highlight some key features, for instance. But like I said, keep it concise, keep it very goal oriented, because the post captions are very limited. You really do have to be careful with, what you say on that caption, but you do want them to take action. You want them to click through and look at one of your listings and then hopefully buy. You really also will likely be creating multiple posts. That's what I would recommend. That's what we've seen work best. And you can test out different variations of your copy, for instance, to see maybe what kind of things that you're mentioning within your copy, that short as it is within the post, really resonates, that leads to people clicking into your listing. If you're noticing a low, click rate on your posts, it could be the visual, the image itself isn't capturing people. It could be the caption isn't helping them to see how this is going to solve their problem or help them in their life. So make sure you're looking at both of those elements. And let me just briefly mention too, make sure to think about influencer marketing. This could be a great opportunity where, influencer marketing continues to grow, and that's really going to help boost, your brand's credibility, visibility, getting seen in front of people, helping them to understand more about your brand, more about your products and why they're unique. And you could collaborate with an influencer and have them showcase your product through Amazon posts. So they could even, if they're in an Amazon influencer program, you could talk to them about that. And then also, if you have permission, you can use even some of that kind of content as well in your posts too. So think about if you're already using it on other social platforms, Amazon Posts is another place that you could be leveraging that as well. Remember, people are thinking and connecting with faces. So if they're seeing an influencer that they've seen before, that they know, that they like, then it's more likely that you're going to see clicks on your Amazon posts. Lastly, make sure to track those results and then optimize. So I did kind of talk about optimizing throughout the whole process, but you will want to test out different tactics, right? But you will want to make sure to look at your results on Amazon posts, and I'll kind of have like a screen showing you where to go inside posts and like the different columns that you can look at. And I've mentioned a few of those key metrics that you're going to want to look at to see ultimately, well, how did this perform? And use that to then optimize those future posts accordingly. Like I said, press into those things that are working really well. Maybe this is, resonating because your target audience can relate to them. Like that kind of reminds them of them when they are even looking at the person. Like the demographic can come into play, for instance, as one example. You're gonna wanna see how many sales are coming from these posts. What's the, that's like conversions, things like that. Click-through rates is something else also very important as well. How many times is Amazon showing it as well? Like how many impressions, how many times is it being visible on, on people's phones when they're looking at another product, and like those engagement metrics as well. So that'll help you to really boost your performance and to improve it in the future for posts. Make sure to watch this next video here too, because I'm going to talk a little bit more about leveraging advantages of the brand registry, because brand registry I think is key moving on into the next new year. We really want to make sure that you're utilizing brand registry as much as possible. So I think you'll like this video here.